Okay, once your train has been assembled, you'll notice that when you rotate the wheels, your hitch bar is going to kind of go at an angle. And so we're going to take care of that. We're also going to make it so that all the wheels spin at the same time. So when we spin one side, the other side spins as well. So the first thing I'm going to do is just rotate my wheel so that the bar is parallel to the ground. And then on the other side of the train, I'm going to make the bar parallel as well, but I'm going to bring it up. And so one bar is going to be up, one bar is going to be down. Now we're going to modify the wheel. So to modify the wheel or any other component while you're in an assembly, you just double click the wheel and you'll notice that the train will turn a translucent or transparent kind of shade because we're now focused on the wheel, and you'll actually see the revolution and extrusions and everything that we created the wheel with. We basically entered the IPT on the fly. So what we're going to do is add a couple of work axes and a plane to our wheel. So I'm going to grab my axis, which is right up here, and I'm going to click on the middle cylinder, the hole in the middle of the wheel right here. And you'll see that the axis is now shown up right here. And then I'm going to grab my axis again, and I'm going to put an axis on the hitch peg right here as well, right on this cylinder. So now I've got an axis here, an axis here, and with these two axes we're going to make a plane that intersects both of them. So I'm going to go to plane, and I'm just going to click the plane button and make a work plane. And I'm going to click on this axis and this axis. And now you'll notice that there are planes on all the wheels, because this wheel is the same all the way around the train. It's the same wheel. I just set it in the assembly 4 times. So now I've got a plane on all the wheels. So now I'm going to hit return. This button is going to bring me back to the assembly. And now we have all of our planes. So what I want to do is confine, make it so that these two planes are always parallel with one another no matter what. So I'm going to go to constrain. Not exactly parallel, but just angle to each other. And I'm going to go to angle. And I'm going to do the solution directed angle, which is this one right here. And I'm going to click the front plane right here in the front. And this plane as well. 0 degrees, hit apply. Now what this has ensured is that no matter what, these wheels or these planes are always going to be at the same angle to one another, and so now this thing is never going to be able to go off kilter like it did before. Okay, so I'm going to put it down, go to the other side, and I'm going to do the same thing. Constrain, angle, directed, click this front plane right here. Make sure you're hitting the plane, not the wheel. So hit the plane and this plane as well. Hit apply. Now this side's done. And I'm also going to do a directed angle to this plane and this other front plane. And that's going to make it so that the wheels spin at the same time. So I'm going to click this plane and this plane right here and hit apply, cancel. And now when I go back into my train, grab the wheel, you'll notice that the wheels now move simultaneously. So if I move this side, the other side moves too. Okay, now we're going to put the train on the track. So I'm going to go to place, and I'm going to grab my track, place, done. And you can place the track below the train and keep the train grounded, but for this I like to unground the train. The train body is grounded, but when we unground it we want to immediately ground this so that this becomes now our isometric shape. We don't want to unground the train body and rotate it out of kilter or anything. So I'm going to click on the track. So click on the track with the left button of the mouse and then right click it and go to grounded. So I right clicked and want to ground it so it's checked. Now I'm going to click on my train body, right click it, and go to grounded off. and that way we can put the train on the track. So the way we put the train on the track is go to Constrain, and I'm going to choose Mate, and I'm going to mate the top of the train to the bottom of the bottom of the train to the top of the track. And right now, the bottom of the train is going to be right up against the top of the track, but I want my wheels to be inside these little grooves. So you're going to offset it. So 0.45 seems to be, or 0.46 I mean, 0.45 seems to be a good way to, or a good number to use for the mate. So the wheels are going to be in the track here. I'm going to hit apply, and then I'm going to go to flush, and I want to flush the side of the train to the side of the track. And if I look at it from the front, you'll notice that the wheels are off kilter here. So I want to offset this as well. And 0.7 is a good number to use. You can see that the wheels are off, are right in the middle of the track here. I'm going to hit apply and cancel. And I'm going to click the plus sign over here for the train body. And I've got my mate, which is mating the bottom of the train to the top of the track, and my flush, which is pushing the train over to the side. The flush looks great. The mate looks like it's a little high. So I'm going to right click this mate and go to edit. And it looks like the number is too high, so I'm going to try 0.4. And look at that. We can see that it's already gone down a little bit, but it's not far enough. So I'm going to try 0.375. And that looks like it's working pretty well. The train wheel is right inside the track, 0.375. Okay? So that number should work for you. Next thing, I'm going to go to Constrain, and I want the wheel, when I grab the train body and move it, I want the wheels to move along the train. So in order to do that, I'm going to go to Motion, and I'm going to go to Type Rotation Translation, and I'm going to do the distance of 5 inches. That's the right ratio of how much the wheel is going to move every 5 inches. So I'm going to go to 5. And usually reverse works, so I'm going to do reverse. But if it doesn't, we can go back and edit it later. So I'm going to do reverse. And now I'm going to choose the front. Either one of the front wheels is fine. Right on the wheel. I'm just going to click the front of the wheel here. And I'm going to click the front of the track, this face right here, and hit apply, cancel. And now, if I grab my train and move it, you can see that as I grab the body of the train, the wheels move along with it, which is exactly what we want. Now, if you happen to, we made the wheels go in reverse, which made it go the correct direction, but if your wheel is going the opposite direction, simply click the wheel that you did it to. You'll see that it highlighted over here. I'm going to hit the plus sign and see there's our rotation translation right there. So if I right click this and go to edit, and I go to forward and hit OK, the wheel is going to move the wrong direction now. See, it's going backwards when I move it forwards and forwards when I move it backwards. So if it did do this, then all you have to do is find the rotation translation, right click it, go to edit, and then reverse the direction. And now it's back to where it used to be, which is the correct place to be. Okay, now what we need to do is come into our work plane. So every one of my wheels, it's going to have a work plane and work axes. I want to turn the visibility off of all these, so I'm going to right click it and turn visibility off. And unfortunately, it only does it to the one wheel. I have to go and do it to all the wheels, so I'm going to go into here, turn off the visibility to work axis. So work plane is visibility off. I'm going to hit the plus sign and then turn the work axis visibilities off as well. And I'm going to repeat this step with all the wheels so that all the planes are now invisible. Okay, once you've turned all the visibility off of your work planes, what you want to do is you want to assemble your second car inside the same assembly. Do not assemble your car in a separate assembly and then place that assembly inside here, because otherwise the wheels will not turn. You want the wheels to be able to turn. Okay? So make sure that you assemble this inside the same assembly that you've done here. Alright, this is how you're going to put the next train onto the track. You're going to do it the same exact way you did for the first car. Now on the first car, we have our mate at 0.375 and our flush at 0.7. So we're going to do the same thing for the second car. I'm going to constrain mate, and I'm going to mate the bottom of this car to the top of the track, and I'm going to do a 0.375 offset, hit apply, and then I'm going to flush the side of the car to the side of the track, and I'm going to do an offset of 0.7. Hit apply, and I'm going to look at it from the back just to make sure that it worked, and it looks like it did, so that's good. In order for the train car here to be touching this train car at all times, what we want to do is mate this car to this car, the front of this car to the back of this car. But when we mate those two together, it's going to make these two hitch magnets basically enter the other car. So what we need to make or take into consideration is the size of this hitch magnet and the hitch peg. Now the hitch magnet is 0.25, and the hitch peg head, which is the size we want, because if we look at it from the side, we want to consider the height of the hitch magnet and the height of the hitch peg. And the hitch peg is, the head of it is 0.15, and the height of the hitch magnet is 0.25, so that would equal 0.4. So 0.25 plus 0.15 would be 0.4. So I'm going to go to constrain, and I'm going to mate the front of this car to the back of this car, and we want to do 0.4, but that's only going to get us halfway. We actually want to do 0.8, so I'm going to do 0.8, and you can see that these are just barely touching each other, or not quite, but very, very close to touching each other, which is fine, and that's what we want. So I'm going to hit apply, cancel. So now the car has been placed in place, and now I can move the car back and forth. Okay? Now you'll notice that the wheels are moving on the front car but not the back, and that's because we've only put the rotation translation on this wheel. We haven't done it on any of these wheels, and so we need to go in and put a rotation translation on each of these wheels. So I'm going to go to constrain and go to motion, rotation translation, distance of 5, and we're going to try forward this time. I'm going to click on this wheel right here and the front of the track, hit apply, cancel, and look at that, not going in the right direction. So forward did not work. We're going to have to use reverse. Now these ones may require reverse and the other side may require forward. We'll just jump that bridge when we get to it, but you do want the wheels rolling in the right direction. So I'm going to click on this wheel, find that constraint. It looks like it's highlighted right here. Wheel for the second car. Right click rotation translation and edit it. And I'm going to go to reverse, hit OK, and now the wheel is moving in the right direction. None of the other ones are, but this one is. Now the reason that we could do it with this wheel, we only did it with this one wheel and it did it for all of them, is because these wheels are connected with a linkage bar, and this wheel and this wheel have had a constraint done to the plane so that they move in sequential and simultaneously to each other, and so that's why only one wheel needs to be done here. But for this second car, you need to constrain all 4 of the wheels. Once you've done this, then your train is all set to go. You want to string at least 3 tracks together, and you should be able to do that when you do complete this, you should have 3 tracks in a row and have the train run on it with all the wheels running.